Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be talking about, is a vinyl business something that you should consider getting into in 2024? Is it still in style? Are people still buying vinyl products? Is that even something that you should spend your time on looking into? So we're going to go over all the things. I'm going to start with talking about things you should consider and think about to see if it might be a right fit for you. And then we're going to go into the investment cost and every single item that you'll need to start a vinyl decal business. And then we'll go into trendy products and things that you can create with your vinyl machine that are still relevant today and people are still currently buying. And then I'm going to go into some tips from a seller that did vinyl for many, many years and kind of some advice and tips that I have to kind of help your vinyl business grow. So if you guys are interested in this video, just keep on watching. So before we jump into the video, I wanted to show you guys my new setup a little bit back here. I've kind of been playing around with it a little bit, but those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, I decided to kind of revamp things just a little bit here in my craft room. So that tour is coming up soon, and I got a new camera and microphone, so hopefully things sound okay and look okay. But I figured with the years I've been doing YouTube, I've had the same camera and same setup for a while. I thought that I might change it up just a little bit. So let me know what you guys think. So if you're new to this channel, hi, I'm Sally, and I have been selling things online for many, many, many years. It all started in 2016 when I started selling vinyl decals, and I decided to make a purchase and buy my vinyl machine and some vinyl, and it kind of took off from there. I started with just decals, and then I decided to kind of branch into personalized products. So I made personalized tumblers and things like that, and that did really well. And then I decided one day to try stenciled wood signs. So once I started doing woodworking, I absolutely loved it and fell in love with it, and knew that one day I wanted to get a laser machine to kind of build my business up from there on that. And I still love my vinyl machine, but I figured I wanted to kind of niche down a little bit because I was doing too many different things at once. So now my husband and I do our wood business together, and it's going really well. So that's not to say vinyl is a bad business to get into because I shifted. It's okay to shift within businesses to find things that work good for you. And if it wasn't for my vinyl machine, I would not have figured out what I truly love to sell. And I learned so much over the years. I loved making decals, and I still to this day use it all the time to make various different things. So is it worth it in 2024? And the short answer is yes. I definitely think that a vinyl cutting machine is a very well-rounded machine that you can make a ton of different products with, and you can shift around and find what works for you. Not only can you do vinyl decals, but you can do tumblers, you can do personalized products, you can do HTV t-shirts, you can do stickers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on with how many things that you can do with it. And not only that, but you can make some pretty cool crafts with it as well. So it's really fun. It's a fun machine. And the software also is so good to learn because a lot of the softwares I use now for my laser machine, all those things that I learned from that, from my vinyl cutting machine, is kind of intertwined with like Lightburn and things that I use now. So anyways, it was a great business start for me. It worked well for me. And I crunched the numbers and I figured everything out on the investment cost and the amount of money that some of these sellers are making using their vinyl cutting machine, and it's still definitely worth it in 2024. So vinyl is not dead, you guys. It's definitely still a very trendy business to get into, and you can make some good profit, and it could be a really great side hustle or full-time business for you. So let's go ahead and get on into it. I made some documents and some different things that we're gonna kind of look into together. So let's go ahead and get into it now. All right, so here are some things to potentially think about before you start. So number one is getting a business license and an EIN in your state. So the cost and the process will vary depending on where you live and all that good information, but that's definitely something to kind of good to start with. Next is opening up a business bank account. That's always kind of good to go with that. What niche do you want to get into? Do you want to do decals, personalized drinkware, stickers, etc.? It's okay to do more than one. Next, what is your budget? Just kind of have a good idea of that in mind before you go and purchase the things that you need. Next is the brand of vinyl. Oracle 651 and StarCraft HD are my favorite permanent vinyl. Do you want to use matte or gloss? Matte is definitely the most popular, so I would kind of recommend going to what most people prefer. Next is the brand of vinyl machine. Do you want a Silhouette, a Cricut, a StarCraft, a Graphtec, etc.? Which will suit your needs the best? Next is market research to find trending products that you can have an idea of what to sell and what to start with to have success in your business. Next is shipping methods and cost to ship so that you can price products accordingly. I have a really good video kind of going into detail on different shipping methods and some things to look into, and I'll go ahead and link that here in the cards. How many orders can you handle, and do you have the space to grow? Do you have a supportive partner or family member who may be willing to help if things take off and you get really busy and you need some extra help? Next is material suppliers time frame and ordering in bulk to save money. That's just something good to think about. Next is, are you ready to go full time? Set a plan in place for if and when that time comes. And remember, there's no such thing as failure. Be prepared to pivot if needed and keep trying until you find your groove. So first up, you're going to want to buy a vinyl cutting machine. If you do not have a computer or laptop, you'll want that first, but we're going to say that you already have one of those. So the first thing that you're going to need is a vinyl cutter. So we're going to go with the most common ones that I see that are highly recommended and a lot of small business owners and crafters use. So first up, we have the Silhouette Cameo 4. It's a 12-inch cutter and it's approximately $195, give or take, depending on where you live. That's just the price according to where I am in the United States. So the Silhouette Cameo 4, this is last year's model. They all have the new 5 out, but this is just last year's model. Next is the Cricut Explorer Air 2, 12-inch cutter. It's approximately $199. So between the Silhouette and the Cricut, those are two that I see the most commonly bought. And I would definitely recommend the Silhouette Cameo because that's the one I used, and I think it's great for business. You have a lot of capabilities, and it's just an all-around good machine. So like I said, I used it, and it did well for what I needed. Next is the StarCraft Solo. It's a 16-inch cutter. It's approximately $500, give or take. I loved this machine. I have this machine. It's an excellent machine. It has a little bit of a learning curve, but the capabilities are extremely strong with this one. So definitely one I recommend as well. Next is the Heat Press Nation Vinyl System Specialist. It's a 28-inch cutter, and it's approximately $450. So I don't have this machine, but from what I've seen and from reviews, it's a great machine as well. It's something good if you're wanting a large cutter, and it can do a lot more. Next is the Graph Tech cutters. These you're gonna spend over $1,300 usually because they're higher end, but they're kind of considered the top of the line. So if you're ready to go all in, go for it. But like I said, it depends on your needs. It depends what you're wanting to do. But just these are some options. Definitely do your research and figure out what will work best for you. So you're now going to want to buy some vinyl rolls. Now, depending on what you're going to be making and selling, it might change up, but this is kind of what I would do if I was starting from the beginning and what I would get. So you're going to want to get some vinyl rolls, permanent vinyl. I thought 5-foot rolls sounded good to start with, and 25 different colors. I just went and got a bunch of different types of popular and nice colors. And all the pricing and where I got things, I'll link it down below so you guys can see kind of where I came up with these prices and all that stuff. So we'll just kind of quickly go over these. You're going to need some transfer tape to go with your permanent vinyl. And I didn't use a lot of HTV in my business. I did for some things, but I didn't need big rolls. I did keep big rolls of white and black, but for colors, I would just get, random ones to keep on hand. Next, holographic vinyl, super popular, still trendy to this day. Definitely keep some rolls of that on hand and try and make some products with that. And then the Star Mask stencil film is used for stenciling on wood signs and different things. So I love to have that on hand. Here are some extras that I would recommend getting. Extra mats for sure. You can use the Cricut brand or the off Cricut brand mats on pretty much most of the machines. So I would always get those and use them with my Silhouette. And they last a really long time, especially if you clean them. Next is some vinyl tools. Just get some good quality vinyl tools that you can use. And I love, you see the little black thing on the side, that's called a brayer. I love that for large decals. That worked really well. Next is some scissors. Make sure to get titanium nonstick, because it won't stick to the adhesive on the vinyl, because that will ruin scissors pretty quick. But I like to keep those on hand. Next is some extra blades for your machine. That's good to keep on hand. I love this guillotine paper cutter. I use it all the time for paper, vinyl, all the things. Still have it years later, and it works great. Teflon sheets if you're going to be doing anything with HTV, and heat presses. But these are just some extra things that I would recommend. So next up is some shipping supplies. These are things that will help make your life a little bit easier and your customer's life a little bit easier. So a label printer, this is a Rollo. It's around $200, give or take, and some labels. So you'll want to get one of those if you want to make your life easier. Now you can go the printer and paper and tape route, but it does take a lot more time. So I would recommend getting one of these if you can swing it. Next up is some alcohol prep pads. So these are for your inside of your packages. If you guys haven't seen the video I made on how to package vinyl decals to save money, I will go ahead and link that video here in the cards. It's a little bit of an older video, but that's how I packaged all the years of selling vinyl. So Alcohol prep pads are for your customer. Also, the blank PVC cards go with it. It's kind of like a little care package for the decals, and customers loved it. Next are some cello bags. You'll definitely want to get some of those to put your vinyl in with all of the other things that you're including. Next up is poly mailers. So you could use those, or you could use the rigid mailers. Now the rigid mailers are a lot more expensive, so I like to use poly mailers and then put the heavy duty cardstock into the poly mailer to kind of keep it from bending like crazy. Of course it can still be bended, but it did not do anything near. I never had problems with my decals shipping this way. And next you'll want some slim shipping boxes for your large decals that you're rolling up and shipping. So this could be shipped various ways, but I like to use the slim boxes for my large decals. So these are just some things that I would recommend getting when it comes to shipping. Next up is a heat press if you need one or want one for any reason. These are some heat presses that I recommend in different categories. So first up is the Power Heat Press. It's a great budget beginner press that you can get on Amazon for pretty low cost. Next is the StarCraft 8-in-1 Swing Away. This is a great heat press with lots of attachments. If you're wanting to try a lot of different things, it's a good all-in-one press. Next up is the HPN Craft Pro Press. That's a good press as well from Heat Press Nation. And then I have the HPN Signature Series 16 by 20. That one is a good pull-out press that you're able to, it like auto closes and opens. So that's like a good big press if you need to make larger products or mini products. So having these different types of presses just really depends on your need and what will work best for you and your business. But these are just some recommendations that I have. Next up is blanks. You're going to want to, if you're wanting to do more than just decals, I would recommend figuring out what kind of blanks that you want to make and sell and having a budget for that and then buying some blanks. So for example, if you want to do mugs and tumblers, I really like all of these types from Save a Cup. And then the really trendy ones right now are those frosted glass beer can cups. Those are extremely popular right now. So if you want to try that out, maybe you want to do acrylic blanks, ornaments, wood, whatever you're wanting to do, that would be a good idea to have like a budget in mind and go ahead and buy some blanks for your business. So here is an approximate investment cost. Now remember, the costs and the taxes will vary depending on where you live, how many of each product you buy, what brands you buy, all the things. This is just a general idea of if you maybe choose some of the things that I mentioned in the slides previous. So first up is a vinyl machine. This was the Silhouette, around $195. Vinyl, stencil vinyl, and transfer tape, around $102.32. A heat press. This is the budget power heat press from Amazon, $189. Vinyl mats and tools, around $34.38. A label printer and extra labels, $220. Shipping items and accessories, around $102.52. And blanks to personalize, we're just saying maybe you had a $200 budget. Your total will come to $1,043.22. So this is just, like I said, approximate, but you can look to spend around about this to start a vinyl business. So I went and did a bunch of market research to get some ideas of things to sell that are kind of trendy right now when it comes to vinyl and ideas. So I love to use Everbee. I'll have it linked down in the description. It is kind of like an Etsy marketing tool, so where you're able to kind of get ideas for what's popular and what's selling well on Etsy. So I use that to kind of get these ideas. So birth flower pet customized name can cups with the bamboo lids, like I showed you guys in the previous blanks slide. That's kind of targeted for iced coffee, but those are doing really, really, really well. So if anything you do with those can cups, and especially if you're targeting the birth flower pet customized, those are doing well right now. Skinny tumblers and 40-ounce tumblers with names, I did those. They did really well, and I see them still doing very well on Etsy. Next is customized business name decals, custom name decals, seasonal decals, anything custom. People come to Etsy for custom products, so you can't go wrong with anything custom. Next is balloon arch decals for parties and weddings. This has kind of been a newer thing I've noticed over the last maybe year or two, but that's actually something that's really trendy right now. So any kind of balloon arch decals. Holographic name decals or any decals with holographic stuff on them will do well. I've noticed that they did very well years ago and they're still trending. Next is tumbler top name tags. This is fairly new, but I'm sure you guys have seen all of the Stanley 40-ounce tumblers. They have those name tags on the top, but you could personalize those with vinyl and different names and colors, and I guarantee they'll probably do well. Just do not use the word Stanley because it's trademarked. Next is painted stenciled wood signs and acrylic signs. Those have been doing well for years, still doing great today, and you can personalize them and customize them to your liking and your style. Ornaments and Santa plates for Christmas. Definitely capitalize on the holiday stuff. Ornaments do very well on Etsy, so you can grab some ornaments, put some vinyl on them, tie some ribbon on the top, and those will do well. Anything bridesmaids, custom makeup bags, tumblers, etc. Bridesmaids and wedding things do very well on Etsy, so I would kind of do some market research and figure out what maybe you could make in bridesmaid niche. All right, now that we've covered all of that, let's go into some tips from a seller and somebody that has sold vinyl and things that might can help you on your venture. So first tip is to sell your items in multiples or bulk or like groups. So if somebody, for example, if you want to sell a tumbler, try and have some listings with multiples. So bridesmaid tumblers and things that people can order more than one, because when they order more than one, you make more profit, especially with lower cost items like vinyl decals. I noticed if somebody buys one vinyl decal for $3, $4, $5, it doesn't give you as much of a profit unless you sell maybe a 10-pack of decals for X amount of money, and then you can make more profit. So that is something I would definitely put a lot of focus into, is try and sell products in multiples. Next tip is to order your products and supplies in bulk to save you money. So of course, in the beginning, you might not want to buy things in bulk. You might want to start off with kind of ordering little by little. But once you kind of get a little bit established, try and start ordering things in bulk, because you can save a lot of money, therefore make a little bit more profit on your products. Next tip is a big one, and I learned this the hard way, especially after my first year, is don't underprice yourself. You're gonna see a lot of sellers, especially on Etsy, undercharging, and they charge super low for the products, especially decals and different things like that, and they'll have free shipping, and you'll want to try and compare to them. But you need to try and kind of find that middle ground, find a good in between. Don't underprice yourself and don't overprice yourself. In the beginning, try and get kind of a little bit in the middle, and try, and sometimes it's okay to kind of underprice a little bit in the beginning just to get your name out there, but you're gonna want to raise your prices so that you can recover your cost. Because the first year that I sold decals, I tried to charge really low cost to be able to get my name out there. And I did it for way too long. And then come tax time, I realized I did not make near as much money as I thought I was making because I wasn't doing my research. So I recommend doing research, getting an idea generally of what people are selling for products that are similar to you, and then get an idea of how much your material cost is. So how much money are you putting into each product? Are you charging adequately for your products? You definitely just want to make sure you cover your costs good and don't undercut yourself. It's not worth it, I promise. Next tip is to constantly market research. And when I say market research, keep an eye on trends, join all the Facebook groups, figure out what's popular. If it's, for example, leopard print like it was for so many years, stick with the leopard print. If people are into the multiple layer decals, do that. Just kind of keep an eye on trends and do that, but make your own spin on it to make it unique and different, but you're staying within the trends so that you'll get more views on your products. And also focus on SEO. So search engine optimization, the market research is a big part, but also your titles, tags, descriptions, keywords can be big when it comes to that, and your product photography. So that kind of all intertwines together. But if you focus on that really well, like have a solid, good product, and then you do your SEO really, really well, like that, you make that one of your first priorities, your product will get views then, and then you can start getting sales, and then things will kind of, it'll be like a domino effect from there, and things will flourish. So definitely focus on that stuff, but all starts with market research, but definitely emphasize on that as much as you can. Okay, last tip is to know it's okay if you want to change things up. Just know if you start with one thing and you want to try other things out with your machine and you want to try selling this and selling that, it's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world. And with me, I sold in my shop at one point. I was having decals, personalized cups, mason jars. I was also doing the signs. I had a bunch of things in one shop. And my products were kind of considered a personalized gift shop. So it wasn't like they were completely out there, because the way my products were, like maybe a bride went in there for bridesmaids gifts, and then she saw some decals and maybe decided to throw that in there as well. And then maybe she came across a wood sign and wanted that for her wedding. So it kind of all kind of flowed together well. But just know that if you start with, let's say you start with t-shirts and you want to try decals, that's okay. Try it out and be okay to pivot and try things out. And that's good for business too. It's good for you. It's good to keep things trendy and keep things kind of going with the flow, because you'll find then you might find what you truly love making and selling, and you won't know that until you try. So that's kind of my tips and advice for you guys. Be okay to pivot, be okay to try new things out, and utilize your machine to the best of its abilities, because like I said, you can do so much with your vinyl machine, and it led me to what I'm doing now. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.